Welcome to Connecting the Dots in Early Childhood Education. I'm Pat, and I am thrilled to bring you today's first Patreon of the year for me in 2022 on play. So let's get started. My question to you is, have you forgotten how to play? I think that's a question that we all need to pause and ask ourselves. As COVID has continued, we might have forgotten how to play and how to enjoy playing as partners with our young students. So let's think for just a minute. What is play? Very simply, it's spending time doing something enjoyable or amusing, something that's just fun. My question is, do you know how to play? And also, do you know how to be a play partner? That will be the focus of this series of slides and this presentation today. As I said at the top, COVID has stolen so much joy, but I am a strong believer that play can bring it back. When I was putting this particular slide together, my first picture was of an adult and a child outside blowing bubbles and having a great time with what we know the magic can be when we're involved in bubble play. But then I thought to myself, I don't think this is appropriate for this time because nobody's really being encouraged to do that type of play. Blowing bubbles, you can't really do with your mask on, and keeping your mask on right now is still what is really required. So I looked for another picture and was happy that I found this one, which is a little boy using videotapes to build a tower. And in this tower, he's made a window that he's looking through. And as you may know, I am a Reggio Emilia past teacher, and certainly someone who still really looks through that lens when I'm thinking about play and curriculum and open-ended materials. So I want to remind you of this open-ended material, which if you can get your hands on any while there's still some around, make sure you bring some into your classroom and you'll see how much fun they actually can be. So considerations when creating a play invitation. First, I want to start with you. I believe that teachers are extremely important and should be validated in the process of teaching and of curriculum design and of play in the day. And so I want to start with you and ask you, what makes you happy? Think about things that bring you joy when you're thinking about some play invitations for inside your classroom. And then provide materials that promote creativity and open-ended discovery. We just talked about the videotapes, but there's so many more that we'll talk about in just a minute. Reimagine your environment. It's a great time at the beginning of the year to hit the reset button and to really look at your environment through new lenses. What's missing? What do you love? And what maybe do you want to change in your environment? So reimagine your environment. And in this picture, I, as a teacher, just used this hazardous, I think they call it hazardous material, protection material. It's very inexpensive, and I used some pipe at the top and I hung it from the top of the ceiling and just rolled it out, and I could roll it back up when I didn't want it down. But it gave the kids just another opportunity to explore and to play peekaboo. They ended up weaving through it and doing all kinds of fun things. So think about, open up your mind to reimagining your environment. What makes you happy? Let's start this work by getting in touch with the child within. I'm going to ask you, just like in this picture, to close your eyes and try and get in touch with the time when you were a child and were enjoying just the sheer fun that can come with just play. I'll share with you one of my memories. It was a very sunny day in Alabama, and I was wearing my favorite nightgown in the daytime outside, so that made it even more special. And I was dancing in the sun and making shadows and just feeling so free. I can still remember that feeling. So I want to ask you to think about a time when you were playing. Maybe you were playing alone and self-directing your play, or maybe you were engaged in playing with a friend, but think back on what it was that made you so happy in that moment. And just reignite that sense within yourself of play and what that can mean and those good memories. I'm going to take a moment now to ask you to really think, as we started to talk a little bit about it before, providing the materials that will promote creativity in your classroom. We're going to dig a little deeper. So think about some open-ended recyclables and then ask families to donate. Families can then become more engaged and have a better understanding of how some of these materials could be used in playing and engaging with their students at home, with their little ones. To the right, you see some children whose parents really worked with the teacher, and this was a Reggio Emilia school in Santa Monica. A shout out to my friend Jennifer. And in this picture, you can see that these children are practicing being space astronauts. And so the parents brought in these wonderful open-ended materials to help them build their little space backpacks. And so think in those ways, what invitations could you make to parents to get some of these recyclables into your classroom to create and promote some of this fun way to play? Materials might include paper tubes of all sizes and weights. So put that invitation out into emails to your friends and family members. Get as many of these open-ended materials as you can. It will make all the difference. Magazines, wrapping paper, aluminum foil, netted plastic wrap that comes on some of our vegetables and other items that we get in the grocery store, styrofoam. It is still being used, though it is not sound for the environment. We can still take advantage of it and bring it into our classrooms for some fun and creating structures. I have seen children stick golf tees, toothpicks, popsicle sticks, and weave all different kind of materials, ribbons and string around those and make mazes. I've seen styrofoam used in so many creative ways. So if you can get your hands on some, we might as well make good use of it while we're still having it. As we've already said, old videotapes, dried flowers, boxes, and more boxes. We know how much open-ended fun and how many imagination stations and play moments can happen with just a box. So make sure you get some of those boxes in and then use your imagination to add to the list. I'm sure there's many more things that you can come up with. In this photo, I want to share with you, thinking about those tubes, you can see to the far left that someone has brought in some pretty substantial tubes and they're using them in the buildings that they're making. Also, you can see those little netted boxes that have been used in the bottom of the building. Those you can get in your vegetables, come in those a lot, or your fruit. So really thinking about these materials and how they can be repurposed. To the right, you see two pictures where I thought this teacher did a great job of inviting parents to build some playstations at home with their children. And this was before COVID. But now if we think about it, what a great invitation during COVID. We have no idea when parents and children will be forced back into their homes. So it is important to be thinking about how to engage with parents and creative ways that they can learn and play with their students when they are at home together with them. So I love both of these examples. It might be something you want to try. Reimagine your classroom environment, another important topic. How do you feel when you walk into your classroom? Do you have a positive feeling? Are you excited when you walk into the classroom? Do you feel comfortable? Are there spaces that beg to be played in? Is there a favorite place that you gravitate towards in your day? Think about why. And again, exactly, where do you want to play? Is that a place that you find yourself going to partner and play? So be mindful of these spaces and think about which ones are inviting and which ones could perhaps be more inviting, or how could you create more inviting spaces? Design. What are some changes you might consider? Again, this is the beginning of the year. You've got lots of opportunity to learn from what worked or didn't work in your first half of the year and really create some change that might work better for you and your students in this new year. So start with rearranging furniture with the students. And I really mean it when I say with the students. That same friend of mine, Jennifer, allowed her students to help in rearranging the room. They had critical thinking discussions about where things might work better and where they might create more space for a different type of play. And they had these rich conversations. They drew a map together. And then she literally had the children helping her move the furniture. It's a very empowering feeling for children to have that opportunity, to feel as if they are powerful and they do have a voice in what's going to happen in their very important environment. All of you are spending a lot of time there, so it is something to partner with them in creating. Number 2, organize your materials to promote more accessible play opportunities. Again, thinking about those places where children are playing, can you open them up more? What are some things that you could do to allow for the block buildings to stay up for an extended invitation to play? Really considering all of these different aspects of your play spaces. Number 3, create a photo wall to celebrate captured play moments. And I hope that those pictures will have also you in them, so that parents, and so that you can be reminded of how much fun you're having in your day just playing. And also, when you make a photo wall that just says play, it's giving the importance to play that it deserves and the place that it deserves to be celebrated. Number 4, create an action plan to ensure you make time to partner and play. Sometimes if we're not mindful, play escapes us in our day, and we don't get to take advantage of one of the most important reasons most of us went into education in early childhood, which is we love play. We love the imagination. We love creativity. So make sure that you have an action plan that will make certain that you, your co-teacher, have those times in your day where you're playing, really playing. In this picture and some others I'm going to show you, these are wonderful images that were created when adults, and adult teachers, and I say adult teachers because I also believe our young students are partner teachers with us. They teach us so much. But these were some adult teachers that were invited to use open-ended materials to just play, create. It didn't matter what the outcome was. It was just the experience of using these open-ended materials to create. And so they gathered them in their homes and had some fun. So let's take a look. As you can see to the right, this is a building made out of just paper and tubes, boxes and things that the adult had at home. And she didn't use any tape. That was one of the suggestions. Try not to use tape and see what you can build. And a lot of fun was had, you can see. I love these two pictures. I think the one on the left, this was an adult teacher and her daughter who decided that fall was there, but they love sunflowers. So they used the fall materials that they found outside to create sunflowers. So I love turning back the clock to spring and to summer with those sunflowers. And then there's just open-ended design with string, such a simple but fun thing to do. And my question to you is, what will you do next to bring more play into your day? I hope that some of these invitations that I've tried to bring to you today and getting you to think more deeply about play and what place it plays in your day and in your students' day can encourage you to really make more space for this most important thing that humans are able to engage in, which is play. Just going to go to the next slide here. Bear with me, sorry for that. I'm going to ask that you, in thinking about the invitations that I just made to you, I'm going to ask that maybe you share some of your play pictures with us, or you can just email them to us through Patreon or through our email address, and share some of your stories about play. Share some of the ways that you're reimagining play during this very stressful time during COVID, and maybe invitations that you're making to families so that they can engage in more play at home with their students. I hope you'll do that so we can keep the conversation on Play alive. And in the meantime, I want to remind you, as I know that Olivia did in the last Patreon video, but if you missed it, just a reminder that we have made some changes to our Patreon platform. We are now sharing 1 to 2 videos a month, and we are asking you to engage with us in 1 coaching session per month. So we hope you'll take us up on that. Email us and let us know if you're ready, and we will reach back out and set up a time that we can coach you and get to know you a bit better in 2022. So that's it for me for today, but I can't wait to be back with you again soon, whether it's through coaching or through another Patreon video. And in the meantime, don't forget to check out all of our YouTube videos and share them with your friends and your colleagues. We think there's a lot there that can be helpful, and everyone is looking for resources right now as we try to all stay engaged during this stressful time in our ongoing learning. So thanks, everyone. Hope to see you again soon. Take care. Be well.